project consists of webinars that are based on current trends in live e-learning or live training programs. That is our project webinars. Okay. The webinar approval requirements. To obtain your digital webinar certificate, you must complete the following requirements. Attendance at the webinar of at least 45 minutes, that will count for 50 points. Take the assessment test, 25 points. Carry out the leisure activity, 25 points. And you need to pass with a minimum of 70 points to get your certificate. Okay. Now, the 15th free webinar is on writing essays for the TOEFL exam. Okay. The person who will be helping us with this webinar is the Master's Heidi Schultz. Heidi, she has a certification teaching English as a foreign language or second language and cross-cultural awareness from CEC-EPN and Geneva College, an ALM Spanish language and literature from Harvard University in Cambridge, Massachusetts, and a BA in sociology anthropology. She was cum laude in Carleton College, Northfield, Minnesota. Welcome, Heidi. Let me share with you the presenters.
Okay, I got it, Bernard.
You got it? Perfect.
Thanks very much.
Go ahead.
I'm going to share my desktop. Okay, folks. Welcome to the webinar on writing essays for the TOEFL exam. Okay, I'm your instructor for this evening. Okay, how did I end up doing this? I'll tell you a little story. In May, an ex-student of mine, I've been teaching writing at CEC-EPN for 8 years at least. An ex-student of mine called me on the phone out of the blue and said, "Teacher, I got accepted to a university in Scotland, but the acceptance is provisional. I have to do well on the TOEFL exam, and I didn't do well enough, get a good enough grade for them to accept me. Can you help me?" And I said, "Okay, I'll try." So we worked together for the next 3 weeks, and my student took the exam again, and she got a good enough score, okay, on the writing to go off to the university in Scotland, where she is now, all right, studying for her master's degree. So I tell you that story not to brag about myself, but just to tell you that the information I'm going to give you tonight helped my student, and I hope that it will help you, okay, for all of you out there who are interested in taking the TOEFL exam, especially the writing part. Okay, so let's have a look at it. All right, what do we have to do in the writing section of the TOEFL exam? All right, the writing section is section 4 of the TOEFL exam. Okay, there are 4 sections. The writing is the last. It has 2 tasks, right? The integrated writing task and the independent writing task. Right now, the integrated writing task, you're going to have 20 minutes to write, and I'll go over in more detail what you need to do. The independent task, you're going to have about 30 minutes. And that, folks, you are done, okay? So let's go into this in more detail. Now, first thing you got to remember, time is crucial on the TOEFL exam, so this is one thing you want to work on in your practice, right? Your preparation for the exam. All right, let's look at the independent writing task first. Okay? Now you get a total of 30 minutes, okay, to complete this task. What's going to happen? You're going to read a question, all right? The TOEFL exam gives you, you're going to take a position on an issue, right? Form an opinion, and then you're going to write your essay. Okay, here's how you should divide up that 30 minutes, right? Give yourself a minute to read the question and take a position, all right? Make sure you understand the question and make sure your position is firm, all right? Then you're going to write a personal opinion essay. It's going to be about 300 words or more, all right? And here's how you divide up that time. You got 29 minutes left. Devote 3 minutes to the pre-writing task, right? That's even before you start writing the essay, okay? Brainstorm some ideas. Get some ideas about how you're going to defend your position, all right? Outline those ideas. That is, impose an order on your thoughts, okay? And make sure your outline includes 2 or 3 reasons for justifying your position, plus at least 1 example, okay? Now, you got 25 minutes left. You've done 3 minutes of pre-writing. Write your essay, all right? Now, your essay is going to be, I recommend 4 paragraphs, okay? An introductory paragraph, 2 body paragraphs, and a conclusion, right? And then at the end, and don't neglect this part, give yourself 2 minutes to edit or proofread your essay, right? Correct some mistakes, okay, spelling, grammar, punctuation, whatever it is. This will help you gain some extra points. Okay, how do you structure your essay for the independent writing task? Okay, again, write 4 paragraphs. This is what I recommend. You can write 5, but I'll tell you, I would be hard-pressed to do it, right, as a native English speaker, so I recommend 4. Paragraph 1, again, is going to be your introduction, all right? This is where you state your position on the issue, right? Do not soften it. Don't say perhaps. Don't consider 2 positions. Just give 1, all right? Now, here's the key here. The TOEFL examiners don't care what your opinion is, only that you can write about it effectively, okay? When you give your position, paraphrase the original question, okay? Don't copy the exact words that are in the question. Very important. And then, if you can, offer a hook to interest the reader in your argument the way you would in any essay. All right, paragraph 2 is going to be your first reason that supports your position, all right? State what your reason is, and then explain it, right? Then support the reason with a concrete example. Go into detail. How do you do that? Talk about who, what, when, where, and why, all right? Create a strong image in the reader's mind. Paragraph 3, you're going to give your second reason that supports your position, okay? Again, same structure. Explain your reason, give an example, right? Then finish up with a conclusion, right? If you have time, it's going to be just 1-2 sentences maximum, right? And summarize your argument, restate your position, okay? And maybe refer to the hook again. Right, that's your basic structure for the independent writing task essay. Okay, now, you're going to get 2 types of questions, right? The most common is some question on a social issue, right? It's going to be an issue you should understand, something familiar to you in your everyday life. For example, some parents forbid young children from owning smartphones, cell phones with internet access, while others disagree and believe they are important tools for keeping in touch. Which point of view do you think is better and why? Okay, important things there. Which point of view do you think is better? You have to choose one, all right, and why is explain why. Give reasons, right? The other kind of type of question that TOEFL uses now, and it's a little bit more common, okay, it's kind of a new thing, is to give you a situation and you have to select and defend a strategy. All right, here's an example. You're in a study group with 5 other students. To prepare for an exam, how would you prefer to meet? Right? And they give you 2 strategies, right? A, the whole group meets together several times, or B, students meet in pairs and share notes using email. All right, your job as the writer is to pick one of those. Pick one and then defend and give reasons why your strategy is better, right? Okay, here's another hint, okay, about how you can get the information out of the question you need to answer it correctly and completely, right? The question is going to give you 3 things. It's going to state the topic you need to write about. It will define the parameters of your response, and it will suggest an approach to your essay, that is, what kind of essay you need to write, right? So if we have this question, choose one of the following transportation vehicles and explain why you think it has changed people's lives, right? You get 3 choices: automobiles, bicycles, or airplanes. Now, they're not done, all right? Use specific reasons and examples to support your answer. Okay, you have to do all those tasks. We'll look in some more detail at this. Okay, there are 2 key phrases in the topic. Okay, transportation and change people's lives. All right, in terms of transportation, they give you the transportation choices, and you have to pick one. All right, in terms of change people's lives, this is a little bit more open to interpretation, which I'll discuss in a minute. Now, on the transportation, pick only one. If you pick 2, you're out, okay? Get the cars, the bicycles, or the airplanes, right? Don't talk about transportation that is not mentioned in the question, like subways, submarines, or skateboards, okay? Don't write a long history of world transportation. Forget it. Go right away, pick one of those transportation types, okay, and begin writing. However, once you pick that type, right, there are no limits on that type, right? So if you pick airplanes, you can talk about civilian airplanes, military airplanes, public air transport, private air transport, planes that carry 1 or 2 people, and planes that carry 400 people. Okay, there aren't limits there, so let your mind expand a little bit. Again, there's no limitations on the people, all right? Change people's lives. Which people, okay? So you might talk about all age groups, okay? You can talk about all economic positions, people who live in different countries, okay? The one thing you don't want to do there is focus on you personally, right? It's people in general, right? You is too narrow a focus for this type of essay. Right? In terms of the kind of essay you're going to write, mostly it's expository essays, and that's indicated in the keyword explain, all right? Also, give reasons and examples. That's the why part. Why has this kind of transportation changed people's lives? Right, let me go back and show the question again, all right? Pick out. Make sure you can pick out all the parts of that question, right, that you need to address. You're going to pick one transportation type. You're going to explain why it has changed people's lives, okay? Give reasons and give examples. All right, a little review here. How are you going to allocate your 30 minutes you get to write the independent writing test essay. Right? You remember, this is something you have to practice, right? Devote 3 minutes to pre-writing, brainstorm ideas, outline your ideas, 25 minutes to write your essay, and 2 minutes to do a little editing at the end. Okay, once you read the question, you must form a what on the issue. A position, that is a firm opinion. Okay, what's the right thing? What's the right strategy? How many paragraphs are you going to write? Writers, write 4. Okay, write 4. You'll be able to do this. Okay, let's look at the integrated writing task on the TOEFL exam. The integrated writing task, folks, you only get 20 minutes. Woof, right? It's going to go fast. So this is, again, where you have to practice. Right, now, what is the integrated writing test? It combines reading, listening, and writing. Right, that's why it's called integrated. Here's how you should allocate your time, okay? Give yourself 3 minutes to read the text, right? Actually, the test will give you those 3 minutes above your 20, right? You're going to get 2 minutes to listen to the lecture, okay? And then you're going to get 20 minutes to write your essay. Your essay should be between 150 and 225 words. How do you divide up that time? Give yourself 3 minutes again to outline ideas, okay? Take some notes. 3 minutes for your introductory paragraph. 12 minutes for 3 body paragraphs, okay? 4 minutes for each paragraph, right? Squeeze in a conclusion if you can, 1 sentence. And then 2 minutes again to edit and proofread your essay. Now, we'll talk about this later in the webinar tonight, but during your reading and your listening, you're going to use a tool called the table of comparisons, or comparison table, and you're going to fill that out as you're listening and as you're reading. And you're going to use that as your outline for your essay. Right? Okay. All the integrated writing tests have the same structure. Okay. They're going to open with the reading. You read a text. The text is going to make 3 claims. It's going to say 3 things are true. Okay. Assertions that something is true. Then you're going to hear the listening, and the listening's job is to disagree with the text, right? It almost always disagrees. We call that the rebuttal to the argument, right? It's going to be a professor giving a lecture about the same topic that appears in the reading, okay? But the professor disagrees, and they offer examples, right? Supporting evidence for why the reading is incorrect, okay? So your job is the writer, okay? First of all, figure out a way to refer to these 2 parts, first 2 parts of the writing test, okay? What are you going to call the text, and what are you going to call the lecture, right? I'll go over that again later. Your job as the writer is to describe the 3 claims. Okay, you don't have to form personal opinions here or anything like that. You describe what the text says and what the listening part says, right? But focus on the listening part, okay? And why the professor disagrees with the reading, right? Use that comparison table to set up the argument, right? To collect the data from the 2 different sides of the argument. All right. In your body paragraphs, finish those with a concluding sentence. A little bit of review on the integrated writing task. How many total minutes do you have to write, okay, the integrating writing task and the independent writing task? Okay. 20 minutes for the integrated, 30 minutes for the independent. What are the 4 steps you follow to write the integrated writing task essay? You're going to outline, okay? You're going to write your introductory paragraph, write 3 body paragraphs, and you're going to proofread your writing. In the integrated writing test, you will compare the opposing what that both the text and the lecture offer. The opposing claims, okay? Assertions that something is true. Okay, going back a little bit, just some basic information about writing essays, okay? Basic essay structure, introduction, body, and conclusion. Hopefully you all have that down already, okay? Your introduction has to do certain things. It's got to inform the reader. What's the main idea of your essay, all right? What's your position on the issue, okay? The second, or what's the issue being discussed in the reading and the listening part, right? You might describe what are the limitations, okay, to the topic. I can only talk about airplanes, right? And if you're a good writer, you'll have a hook, right, that gets the reader's attention so that they want to read your essay, right? The body, here's where you give the main parts of your argument, okay? Give your supporting ideas, your reasons, and your claims, okay? Give evidence, all right? Offer examples to support your ideas, right? Or the ideas mentioned in the listening, for example. And then, in the conclusion, summarize your argument. Okay, the normal 5-step writing process. I'm going to give you an abbreviated version for the TOEFL exam. Okay? Brainstorm, get your ideas. An important part, preparing for the writing tasks, okay? You're going to do some kind of pre-writing, right? You're going to write an outline, or you're going to fill out your comparison table. This gives you a chance to organize your ideas before you write, okay? Organize them, not during your essay, but before, right? Write your essay, draft your essay, and then give yourself a minute or 2 at the end to proofread your work and make some corrections. Okay, what are the 3 major components of an essay? Introduction, body, and conclusion. And that's all I got there. All right, let's go into some details. Okay, but what you need to think about to do successfully on the TOEFL exam writing section. Okay, let's go into more detail about what this comparison table is going to look like. This is a tool that you'll use during the integrated writing task. Okay, it's going to look something like this. At the top, state your topic. Okay, whatever the reading and the lecture are about. In one column, you're going to fill out the 3 claims that appear in the reading, right? That appear in the text that you read. That's the opening argument, okay, for the topic. Right? Claim 1, claim 2, claim 3. Then, in the other column in your comparison table, you're going to have the professor's lecture, right? This is the rebuttal or the disagreement to the opening argument. Again, you're going to have 3 claims for the rebuttal, okay? What the details about why the professor disagrees, and give any reasons or examples that the professor gives during the listening part of the exam, right? It's going to look like that. Really structured and parallel columns here, okay? Again, tips, filling out this table, skim the reading, concentrate more on the lecture, about 40% to 60%, okay? Look for the topic right away, right? What's the lecture about? What's the reading about? And then try to pick out the keywords, okay? Is it about economics? What is it about, okay? All right, as soon as the reading starts, you start filling out your comparison table. Your job as the writer is to find the 3 claims in the reading, all right? Now the listening's going to start. 2 minutes, right? You got to find the 3 counter claims that the professor makes, okay, in the lecture. Note any examples that the professor gives, right? Now, you got to take quick notes here. Don't write whole sentences. Use abbreviations whenever possible, right? You have to be a good note taker here to get the information down. Now, what's going to help you is if you listen for transition words, especially during the lecture, right? When the professor says first, right, the professor's going to give an introduction to what, oh, I read this thing and I didn't agree with it, okay? And then first, and the first reason why the professor doesn't agree, all right, start writing and filling out your comparison table. Then you're going to hear second or next, and then you're going to hear finally. You're going to hear those keywords in the listening part, right? And those are keys for you. Take some notes about the claims, right? Again, try not to copy word for word what either the text or the listening section say, right? Paraphrase. Use your own words. Use synonyms. Okay, what's the structure of your integrated writing test essay going to look like? Well, you're going to go for a 4-paragraph essay that is a comparative essay. You're going to compare the 2 claims. You're going to compare them in an alternating manner. First this, claim 1, reading, claim 1, professor. Claim 2, reading, claim 2, professor, etc. Okay? Write an introductory paragraph, state the topic, okay? Paragraphs 2 and 4, devote 2 through 4, okay? Devote 1 paragraph to each claim, right? In the paragraph, compare the 2 claims. Right. If you can squeeze in a conclusion, it's just going to be 1 sentence or 2, right? But you should have a concluding sentence in each of the paragraphs 2, 3, and 4. Right? That's where you're going to do your conclusion. Okay. Now, you're going to begin your introductory paragraph. There's something like this. State the topic. Both the writer and the lecturer discuss, right? And state the topic. What are they talking about? What are they writing about? Then describe the text or the writer's position. The author supports the idea of that. Okay? Then you're going to state the lecturer, the fact that the lecturer doesn't agree with the text, right? And then state the lecturer's position. However, the lecturer, the professor thinks that, okay, so you should have these phrases ready to go, right? Set up the argument. Okay, so the other paragraphs are going to look like this, right? Your body paragraph 1, right, it's really paragraph 2 in your essay. You're going to discuss claim 1, right? So, begin with a transition word. To begin with, or first, or to start off, and then you describe the author's position about claim 1. The author argues that, right? Just state what they argue, okay? Then you're going to state the professor's position. In contrast, the professor points out that, and then just state whatever the professor's position is, okay? And then you're going to give one more sentence or two about what the professor says, because the professor is often going to give an example, okay? So state that example. All right. Body paragraph 2 is going to be similar to the first one, except your transition word will be different. Okay, you're going to start off with after that, or second, or next, and then the article mentions that. And now you're talking about claim 2. Right? Then you give the lecturer's opposite claim. The speaker disagrees, stating that. And then give details again about the lecturer's opinion. The speaker backs up this claim by quoting or whatever the speaker does. All right, now you get 2 paragraphs to go, or at least 2 if you can manage, okay? Body paragraph 4, claim 3, right? Start off with the transition cue word again, finally, or at the end, or the thirdly, right? And again, you're going to state what the author says, right, in the reading, in the text. And then you're going to state what the speaker says. Professor gives the opposing view back, right? And any examples that the professor offers. If there's time, you're going to add a 1-sentence conclusion, right? In the end, the professor offers 3 opposing reasons why, and then you just state the topic again, state the main idea again. And your 20 minutes will be up, or almost, because you're going to do your proofread. Okay, a little review. All right, words and phrases such as after that, next, first of all, are called. Anybody remember? Okay. Transition words and phrases, and you should have these handy, ready to go when you actually come to the point of taking the TOEFL exam, right? Have those few words ready to go, okay, in your writer's tool. Okay, when you state the lecturer's counter-argument, you should describe both his or her what and its supporting what. The lecturer's claim or professor's claim and its supporting example. Right? And then what synonyms can you use in your essay to refer to the reading and the listening parts, the integrated writing test? Give you some suggestions. Okay? For the reading part, you can call it the reading, the text, the article. And once you pick one, stick with it, okay, to be consistent in your essay. You can refer to the listening part of the integrated writing test as the lecturer, the professor, the lecturer, or the speaker. Okay, and you can probably think of one more. Once you pick one again, stick with it. Right? Okay. In general, what kinds of arguments are used in the TOEFL writing and speaking sections? They tend to be actually very similar, okay? They're classic structures of argumentation. Okay, and you're going to find 2, okay, in the TOEFL writing and speaking section, right? 2 basic types of arguments. First, you're going to find the problem-solution argument, okay? Get a statement of the problem, then the solution is suggested and stated, and then you're going to get descriptions of the benefits of carrying out the solution, right? And then you're going to get observations about trends or proposals, right? So you're going to get an observation of some new trend, right? More and more people are buying hybrid cars, whatever it is, okay? You might find a definition of the new trend. What is a hybrid car? Okay, why are hybrid cars becoming more popular? You might get the cause. Okay, what's the application? How are hybrid cars introduced into people's lives? You're going to get a counter argument, right? No, using hybrid cars isn't a good idea. And then you're going to get a rebuttal. Oh, yes, it is. Right, and for this reason, right? These are 2 standard ways of structuring logical arguments. This is what TOEFL does. You can learn these. That's great. All right, folks, some final tips here. Okay, team 1, practice, practice, practice. I tell this to my students in my writing class all the time. The more you practice, it's like anything, the better you'll get at it. You want to be a good soccer player? Yeah, well, you've got to practice, right? Even messy practice, okay? So, practice before you take that TOEFL exam, okay? And I'll help you with this in a minute. Familiarize yourself with how the test works. You've got to know what those 2 parts of the writing section are, the independent writing test and the integrated writing test, and what's involved in each one, okay? Which one has the listening exercise, for example? How much time do you have to do the independent writing test? Practice completing the 2 writing tests within the time given, right? Again, timing is key here. The more practice you do, the better you get at it, and the more comfortable you'll feel, all right? This is doable with a little practice. All right, 2 places you can go on the internet that will give you free materials, okay, to practice sections of the TOEFL exam, including the writing, are magoosh.com and tstprep.com. Okay, so you might make a note of those 2 right now. Magoosh.com and tstprep.com. Okay, a thing you have to know about the integrated writing test is the reading, the text will appear again, right, if you're taking the online version, but the lecture, the listening part will not. So that's why you got to focus on the listening part, all right, when you're filling out your comparative essay, okay, your comparative table. All right, another thing the TOEFL examiners look for is your ability to paraphrase, right? Don't copy word for word from the text of the lecture, right? TOEFL examiners want to know, they want to test your vocabulary, okay? So try to use synonyms when you can. All right, have your transition words ready, okay? So you can bridge from one paragraph in your essay to another. I won't go over these in detail. They're pretty common, but have about 5 to 10 of them ready to go for your exam and be comfortable using them, okay? All right, use an outline, all right? The pre-writing step is key. Don't neglect it, all right? Do some brainstorming and then organize your ideas before you begin writing. Again, don't write whole sentences here. Just fast notes. And that's all you're going to have time to do. All right. Now, this is permitted, okay, in the online test. And my student used one, and she did quite well. Okay, go get yourself a handheld whiteboard or a clipboard, something you can write on. All right. Get your paper ready and your pens and your eraser. Right? You can use that for your outline, okay, for your essays. When you're doing the listening, take your notes on that whiteboard, or if you prefer a clipboard. It's a great suggestion. Okay, try to use abbreviations. That will save some time when you take notes. All right, everybody's got their own system. Hopefully you have developed some. If not, you can develop some abbreviations in your practice. And folks, that is really all I have to say tonight. I wish you all the best luck when you go to take that TOEFL exam. Have confidence. You can do it. All right? The key here is to understand the exam and to practice. All right? Practice for the writing section. And that's it. Thank you for coming this evening.
Thank you very much, Heidi. Well, right now we're opening our chat for questions, if you have any. And I already have some of the questions that they asked before. So I will just start with those questions meanwhile. Okay? So the first question, is this 4-paragraph structure valid for any type of essay?
Yes. Okay. The 4-paragraph structure is, well, in the TOEFL exam, specific to the integrated writing test, but it's a good structure for the time that you're given, all right, to write the essay. Remember, in the integrated, you only have 20 minutes. Okay, so you have to know how many paragraphs you can write and what each paragraph needs to do. Okay, you have to know that ahead of time.
Okay.
Hey, Bernard, any other questions?
Thank you. Yes. Should I take some kind of refreshment course in English before taking the TOEFL?
Yes, especially if you haven't studied English for a while, right? As the writing section, I suggest you start reading in English, right? And not just websites. Go read like a real book or something, okay? And practice some writing, right? Specifically for the TOEFL exam, or if not, do what my class does, which is keep a writer's journal. Just start writing every other day, 10 minutes, 15 minutes in English. This will help you immensely, okay? Practice.
Okay, thank you. If I pass the TOEFL, can I be an English teacher?
Depends on where you're teaching, but probably not. You will have to get a degree, all right, in teaching and or English and some kind of certification.
Yeah, I would probably add a couple of things there, because of course, yeah, you also need other type of certifications that will allow you to be a teacher. But this would be a very good or a very important first step, right?
It definitely would.
Yeah. Okay. Do I need to prepare for the TOEFL exam? I think you already answered this, but maybe you want to expand a little bit.
Sure, absolutely. Okay, even I, a native English speaker, would have to prepare for the TOEFL exam. Okay, so you have to understand the trick here is the trick, right? You study for the exam in this case. The exam has its own requirements, right? So you have to figure out what those requirements are. Not all exams are the same, and not all writing tasks are the same. So you have to know what the TOEFL people want out of you, okay? So yes, you must practice, you must prepare.
Okay. How many times can I take the TOEFL exam? Or is there a limit?
I don't know if there is or not. I've only investigated the writing section.
Okay. I will probably help you with this one. I know that they don't have a real limit, but of course they will ask you not to take it twice in less than, if I'm not wrong, it's 3 or 6 months. Basically because the exams are so standard that whatever you know today will be pretty much what you know in 1 month. So it doesn't make any sense to do it again.
Yeah, maybe in a year you could pick up more English.
Exactly.
Right.
And the last question, is there any age limit to take the TOEFL exam?
I don't think so. You take it any time you want in your life.
I would probably say that will depend on what you're looking for with the exam. But usually it's to enter universities or job interviews or something like that, so you should be able to take it at with no age limit. Perfect. I don't see any more questions, so that basically that would be it. Thank you very much, Heidi.
Okay.
And let me just share my screen again for a second with you, so I can give you the last information about this webinar. Okay. So, finally, we want to invite you to review our academic offer. You can check this on our webpage, www.virtualepn.edu.ec or CEC-EPN.edu.ec. Thank you very much, and have a great evening, everybody.
Okay, thank you all.